Good morning, Dr. Medrano and classmates. My topic for today is all about language, its definition, nature, and characteristics. First, let us define what is language. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, language is a system of conventional or written symbols by means of which human beings as members of social groups and participants in its culture to communicate. In other words, it says that the language is a system of communication of which human beings express themselves. So in a shorter definition, it is a system of words or signs that people use to express thoughts and feelings to each other. And it is a system of communication, a medium for thought, and a social interaction. Other definitions of language are given by the different scholars, and one of those scholars is a Greek famous philosopher, Aristotle. According to him, speech is the representation of the experience of the mind. In short, speech sound produced by human beings in order to express their ideas, emotions, thoughts, desires, and feelings. According to Ferdinand de Saussure, a linguist in France, language is an arbitrary system of signs constituted of the signifier and signified. In other words, it is the first system based on no logic or reason. Secondly, the system covers both objects and expressions used for objects. And third, objects and expressions are arbitrarily linked. And finally, expressions include sounds and graphemes used by humans for generating speech and writing respectively for the purpose of communication. Here is the graphic description of the sign. The sign is an object. Signifier, the physical existence of the object. Either it is sound, word, or image. In this example, it is red, leaf, round, and the name of the object, which is apple. And then signified more on the mental concept. When we see the thing of the object, fruit, apple, freshness, healthy, temptation, teacher's pet, computer. It's more on the conception of the one who sees the sign. According to Edward Safir, an anthropological linguist, language is a purely human and non-instinctive method of communicating ideas, emotions, and desires by means of a system of voluntarily produced sounds. Its definition expresses that language is mainly concerned with only human beings and constituted a system of sounds produced by them for communication. In short, it is instinct on the human being, how he communicates with other peoples based on his ideas, emotions, and desires to be understood. According to Leonard Bloomfield, an American linguist, the totality of the utterances that can be made in a speech community is the language of that speech community. Bloomfield's definition of language focuses on the utterances produced by all the people of the community, and hence overlooks writing. Besides, he stresses form, not meaning, as the basis of the language. He adopted an approach according to the behaviorist which stimulus and response is given. Jill is hungry. His response, Jill fetches the apple. From hunger, the sentence, speech utterances produces, Jack fetches the apple. Though according to Block and Traeger, language is a system of arbitrary vocal sounds by means of a social group cooperates. A little bit the same with the Saussure's definition of language. In their definition, they point out that language is an arbitrary system, vocal sounds, way of communication, and collectivity. According to the father of modern linguistics, Noam Chomsky, language is an inherent capability of the native speakers to understand and form grammatical sentences. According to him, it is innate. Language is a set of finite or infinite sentences, each finite length and constructed out of a finite set of elements. He considered sentences as the basis of a language. According to the British linguist John Lyons, languages are the principal systems of communication used by particular groups of human beings within a particular society of which they are members. Especially, Lyons point out that language is the best communicative system of human beings by a particular social groups. He focuses his study about natural language and universal grammar. Patanjali. Patanjali is an Indian linguist. According to him, language is that human expression which is produced by different speech organs of human beings. Through speech organs, humans produce several expressions which are converted to language. What are the nature and characteristics of language? Before we proceed, let us identify its definition. Nature is the basic constitution of a person or thing. Characteristics, a feature that helps to identify, tell apart, or describe recognizably a distinguishing mark or trait. Language nature is a combination of sounds, a lot of sounds in vowels and consonants to produce a language. Another nature of the language is words have meanings. Like in these examples, the word set is the word with the most number of meanings, 58 noun, 126 verb, and 10 adjectives. Language follows a grammatical structure. Like in this example, the little boy ran quickly. It is a sentence, but also a noun phrase and a verb phrase. It's a combination of it. That a noun phrase, the little boy, and a verb phrase, ran quickly, and other adjectives, singular verb, and adverb. Another nature, language is based on oral and oral system. What is the difference between them? Oral refers to the ear or hearing, whereas oral refers to the mouth or speaking. As this meaning imply, these two words refers to the most basic skills of language learning, oral skills and oral skills. At the same time, these two adjectives are interlinked to each other, since speaking and listening are not entirely discrete activities. At some point, language can die and be extinct. Some reasons for the growth and decline of language are: first, changing societal needs; second, erosion of old customs; third, call for elegance. I found this word, endangered language, and the difference between extinct language and dead languages. Yes, language is at risk of falling out of use and its speaker die out or shift to speaking another language. That is what we call endangered. Language occurs, it's lost when the language has no more native speakers, like in this example. Ancient Greek slowly evolved into modern Greek, and Latin slowly evolved into modern Italian. What is the difference between extinct language and dead language? When we say extinct, it is a language that no longer has any speaker or that is no longer in current use. And dead languages are still known as its use in special texts in written form. Its examples are the Hebrew languages in Old Testament, the Sanskrit in sutras in India. Another nature of a language. Language can be diverse. Why it is? Like organism, it is alive. It evolves and requires awareness. It bridges gaps of relationship and understanding. It becomes tool for creating and maintaining nature and culture of one's nation. It is also transcends time, where from ancient up to modern, and also it breaks down divisions and working towards in achieving understanding of diverse people in the world. Characteristic of language. Language is dynamic. It goes on changing, like what I've told you before. It evolves, it moves. Language has levels, from a beginner one to a proficient one, wherein it progresses. Language is creative and unique one. Its ability to generate and produce words, another meaningful words, from symbol to sign to letters to words to phrases into sentences. Language is a means of communication. It channels understanding and breaks down barriers. Language identifies culture, a cultural background of one's nation, and identity of one's person. Like what Ferdinand de Saussure says, language is arbitrary, where in the sense that there is no logical relation between form and its meaning. Language, the meaning, and the form, as is shown in this image. There are no relation and no logical relation at all. I would like to end my report in this short quote I got from the emails of Scheherazade. All women speak two languages, the language of men and the language of silent suffering. Some women speak a third, the language of queens. Thank you for listening. God bless.